Welcome back. I worked at a little place called Pine Mart during the summers. It wasn't a full-on gas station or fast food joint, more like a mix between a tiny convenience store and a rural drive-thru. People could pull up to the window, order anything from eggs to ice cream to toilet paper, and we'd grab it off the shelves and hand it to them in a plastic bag. It was just me and my friend Logan working the overnight shift, midnight to 6. The place was on the outskirts of our small town, backed by nothing but thick woods and one long 2-lane road that rarely saw traffic at night. Almost everyone who came through we knew. That was the comfort of working in a small town. You knew the voices, the cars, the routines. That changed one Friday night. Around about 1:40 in the morning, this car pulled up that we didn't recognize. All black, no lights on, just kind of rolled into the drive-through lane like it had been coasting. It stopped in front of the window and just sat there. No one said anything. No one rolled down a window. Logan and I stood there waiting for a voice, a gesture, anything. But after about a minute, we just awkwardly looked at each other. "You good out there?" Logan asked, leaning toward the mic. No response. He tried again. "If you're trying to order something, you gotta roll the window down." Nothing. Then finally, the window rolled down about 2 inches, just enough for us to hear this low, gravelly voice say, "I'm good." We both laughed, thinking maybe it was a prank. People in town messed with us sometimes, but this voice wasn't anyone we knew. The car slowly backed out of the lane, turned onto the road, and disappeared. No headlights, no engine noise, just gone. The next night, it got worse. It was close to 3, and Logan had gone out back to dump trash. The back door opened directly into the woods. No fence, no lights, just black trees and silence. He came back inside, pale as hell. "There's someone out there," he said, locking the back door. "What do you mean?" "Like, standing in the trees, watching." I thought it was a deer at first, but then it ducked behind a tree when I looked straight at it. I peeked out the storage room window a few minutes later. At first, I didn't see anything, but then I noticed the shape, motionless. He was just standing between 2 trees at the edge of the woods, maybe 50 feet from the building. He didn't move, not even when I stared directly at him. I stepped back and told Logan to call the sheriff's office. They said someone would do a drive-by, but no one ever showed. Then around 4:30, Logan went to restock the fridge in the storage room. I was at the front counter when I heard a knock, not on the door, but on the outside wall of the storage room. Just one knock. Logan burst back into the store and slammed the interior door shut behind him. "He knocked," he whispered, "right on the wall, like he knew exactly where I was." We didn't go back there the rest of the shift. The final night we ever worked there together, it escalated. The power went out around 2. Just boom, gone. No storm, no warning. The only light came from Logan's phone and the emergency light over the freezer. We were debating whether to just leave, but that's when we heard an ear-piercing scream from outside. We ran to the front window and peeked through the blinds. The black car was back, parked right in front of the window. This time, the driver's door was open, but no one was inside. And then we heard a single knock, then another and another. Slow, steady knocks, like he was circling the building, tapping along the walls. We grabbed the store's emergency bat, which was basically a metal pipe, locked ourselves in the bathroom, and called the police. By the time the cops got there, the car was gone. No tire marks, no footprints, nothing on the security footage, just static from the time the power went out. The sheriff didn't believe us, not really, but our boss did, because when he went through the footage frame by frame from earlier that night, before the power cut, he found something. A single still frame from about 12:57. It showed a man standing in the woods behind the store, not facing the building, not moving, just standing there. I respectfully quit the next day, and so did Logan. I don't know what that was, if it was some sick freak messing with us, or if it was about to end in tragedy if we stayed working there. I haven't even gone back as a customer. It really freaked me out. I was 22 at the time, and I moved to this tiny town deep in upstate New York, bordering Pennsylvania. I had nothing but a backpack, a prepaid phone, and a bike I bought off Craigslist. It's not much, but it's freedom from my previous situation. I started working the night shift at the Taco Bell. It's open late, but quiet. People here aren't in a rush, and they're too polite to ask why I don't talk about my past. That's what I needed. Quiet. The first time I saw the car, I didn't think anything of it. A black Honda Civic, older model, tinted windows. It was parked just across the lot from the drive-thru window. Didn't go through the line, didn't come inside, just sat there. I assumed they were waiting for someone, maybe a friend or a ride, whatever. But it was there again the next night. And the night after that. Always the same spot. No headlights. Just far enough to be in the shadows, but close enough that if I leaned toward the drive-thru window, I could see the outline. At first, I told myself it was a coincidence, that it couldn't be him. It couldn't be Trevor, my psychotic ex. The reason I fled here, I didn't tell anyone. Didn't want to be that girl. Paranoid. Fragile. The new one with the baggage. But I started biking faster after work, looking over my shoulder, crossing random streets, turning corners for no reason just to make sure no one was following. Then one night, the car wasn't there, and I lost it. I told my shift lead I had a stomachache and left early. I didn't want to believe it, but my gut knew something was off. I couldn't stop picturing Trevor parked somewhere else, somewhere I wouldn't see him. I took the long way home, cutting behind the gas station and pedaling hard toward the trail by the woods. I didn't even live that far, just a rented room over an old woman's garage. But I could not lead him there. And then I heard it. An engine. Behind me. Slow. Too slow for the street. I didn't even look back. I dropped my bike and sprinted into the woods. Branches cut at my arms. My feet sank into wet moss. I ran until the only thing I could hear was my own breathing. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed crouched behind a dead log until the sky started turning gray. Then I walked back to my bike. It was gone. That was the night I finally called the cops. I gave them the plate number I memorized. I explained everything. The weird parking, the way he'd just sit there, how I thought it was my ex, but I didn't have proof. They said they'd look into it. The next night, the car came back, right on schedule. This time, it pulled into the drive-thru. My hands were shaking when I reached for the headset. "Welcome to Taco Bell," I said. "Go ahead when you're ready." Silence. Then his voice. "You're hard to find." My heart dropped. I couldn't breathe. I didn't even have to see his face to know it was him. I ran to the back and called the police again. This time, they didn't blow it off. They found him parked across the street 20 minutes later. He had a black hoodie, a hunting knife, and an unregistered gun in the glove compartment. He'd been living out of this car for days, waiting for his moment. Turns out this was his cousin's car that he stole from him and drove all the way upstate once he knew where I was, which I still, till this day, have no idea how he found out. He went to jail for a few reasons, and I got an official restraining order. My coworkers found out the whole situation and put money together and got me a new bike. I felt like I gained some family in that moment. The anxiety was killing me, and I did end up leaving the job shortly after and found a new place to work. But I never ever ignored my gut again. I'd only worked at White Castle for about 4 months, but I already know the building is ancient. Everything creaks, the walls are cracked, the freezer hums like it's on life support. Our district manager once joked that we were the haunted location. We'd all heard the noises in the ceiling. It started as light scratching, like mice, then heavier, soft dragging sounds, something shifting above the tiles. Everyone noticed it eventually. We'd say it was raccoons or a possum, maybe. It's not like this town hasn't had its fair share of weird wildlife. No one ever looked into it. No maintenance requests, no pest control. Just one more thing to ignore until we clocked out. Then came that night. It was just me and Kelsey on the closing shift. She's 19. Sweet, kind of ditzy. Always playing music too loud through one earbud. The store was dead. No customers for over an hour. It was one of those shifts where time felt like molasses, where the fryer timer became the loudest sound in the building. Around 11:45, we started restocking and doing final cleanup. Kelsey was wiping down the shake machine, and I remembered we were out of register tape. I told her I'd grab a new roll from the back office. I walked down the hallway, opened the office door, and stepped inside. Pitch black. I reached over to where I knew the shelf was. My hand brushed past boxes and loose papers. I didn't turn on the light. I never did. It was just grab and go. But then I heard something. A creak. Not behind me. Not the floor. Above. My eyes slowly adjusted, and I glanced up. There, in the dim glow bleeding in from the hallway, I saw it. One of the ceiling tiles, cracked and sagging slightly, had a pretty big hole in it. And inside that hole were 2 eyes staring directly at me. No blinking, no movement, just eyes. Human eyes. I froze. Couldn't scream. Couldn't think. My chest locked up. I thought maybe I was imagining it. I stepped back, still staring. The eyes shifted slightly, following my movement. I stumbled into the hallway, slammed the door, and finally screamed for Kelsey. She came running, confused, until I grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the front. I locked the office door behind us and called the cops without even explaining to her yet. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely type my passcode. Police showed up 10 minutes later. They found the tile pried open, found muddy footprints on top of the filing cabinet, found handprints on the inside of the ceiling tiles. They eventually pulled a man out of the crawl space. Skinny, pale, wild-eyed. He'd been up there for days, maybe longer. They found a sleeping bag, water bottles, granola wrappers, and a shitty old phone with hundreds of pictures of us. Me, Kelsey, and every other girl who ever worked closing. He had no connection to anyone. No reason. Just a drifter who picked an easy roof to sneak into. They say he never spoke a word during the arrest. I still see those eyes when I close mine. Still hear that creak. Still check my ceiling before I sleep out of fear. There are a lot of sick people out there,